You know, I'll say this, chat. I don't talk about sexual stuff, but I'll say this. You know that one quiz that people do? I forgot the name. BDSM? Something like that. BDSM something. It has the word BDSM on it. I remembered. It was like black. Not right. Yeah, it's like the kink test where like you test your kinks and shit. Yeah, it's a BDSM thing. I remember taking it. You know, one of my top, like one of my top 5 was actually like vanilla. Vanilla was on top of there. Are you surprised? I remember I took it, and I remember like I had a friend, like a bunch of friends who also took it, and I asked, and no one had like vanilla as a top 5. But I had like 92% vanilla or like 90% vanilla. I quite like vanilla. It was like my 5th highest. It was like 90 something, like 90% vanilla. And then above it was like voyeurism. Which is so like the contrast. It was like vanilla right above it, like 92% voyeurism. I didn't. Well, if I think about it, if you really think about it, chat, okay, technically, if you are watching R18 videos, you're the same thing. All right, if you watch R18 videos of other people doing it, aren't you the same? If you can't even say no. You're watching 2 people doing adult stuff, and you're starting to feel things. You are the same. You enjoy watching more than doing. That's me. I'm neutral about it, but I don't know, man. Yeah, Michi, I just grabbed my camera when I got into the... I didn't mean it that way. I immersed myself in it. If you're interested, you could share. You can make a Discord channel for everyone to share ours. That sounds like a fun idea because I love looking at it, but I feel like that could trigger some stuff. That could start some shit. And I think that would go a bit wrong. Because that would start some shit. I know some of y'all be down bad as hell. Okay? And listen. No dating in my community. If you date each other in my community, you're out of band. Have mercy on your Discord mods. Maybe next year for April Fools, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna start like making channels that will purposely freak out my mods.
Got scammed for $3.33. Is that of voyeurism kink or just laziness?
Both.
Either answer is valid.
Bro, fucking honestly though, both. I remember, I think like I took this quite recently though, so it has changed over time. I remember when I first took it, it was different, but then recently, when I mean recent, I mean like end of last year, I took it again. My top 5, starting from the 5th, right? My 5th one was vanilla. 4th one was voyeurism, which is kind of funny to see. The 3rd one was... You know what? Maybe I shouldn't tell you. Say it. Say it! My mod's like, say it right now. You pussy. Don't judge me though. You know the person that like ties other people up? Okay! It just recently. I guess... Not a rope bunny, the other one. Is it what called? Rigger? Is that what it's called? That one. I think like around end of last year, I got immersed into videos of it. Like there are people that would make it into an art. You know, like the way they tie people up is an artwork in itself. The patterns and everything. And I was like, wow. Shibari, exactly. At first, it started with Shibari. It literally started with like normal non-R18 shit, right? It's just like, oh, the beauty of rope tying and the techniques, etc. Blah, 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 blah. That's how it started. And then I was like, damn, I want to learn more. And then I start researching more and more. And then, I don't know, I just thought it was cool. I just thought it's really cool and really pleasing to the eye. And then eventually, it like triggered something in my brain. Either way, that was my 3rd one. But it was still at like 92% or something like that. Dude, fucking Shibari is so good. You have to... Let me show you this picture, okay? So, Shibari is a Japanese bondage technique. A lot of people make it like super kinky nowadays, understandably, because it is the act of tying up. But the whole point of like Shibari is it's like consensual. Like everything has to be consensual, obviously. But because of that, you don't want to hurt the other person, right? So you have to do it in a way that can like literally suspend someone in the air in a way that's pleasing to the eye, and it's neat and it's pretty, but it's not going to restrict any blood flow. It's not gonna make anyone sore or hurt them or stop, you know, turn them blue. Like, you don't want any of that, so you have to be very like careful. You have to be gentle. And something about it made me like, damn, I want to learn this.
Michi is trying her damn hardest to convince chat that she watches porn for the plot.
Okay, some days I don't. I'm gonna be real with you. I'm not that wholesome, okay? Some days I don't. Some days I do. It's just I do it more so. I watch it more for the plot than I do for not the plot. Okay? That's true though. That is true. I'm not the most say-so, okay, chat? Sometimes you gotta stroke your meat. It is what it is. Right, sometimes you need to stroke your meat because you need to fall asleep. Some days you just want to stroke your meat. It's fine. If you're in chat and you're like, OMG, how dare you? Like, oh my god, no way. This is so, oh my... Everyone does it. Okay, everyone does it.
So basically you wanted to know how to make a claustrophobic hammock.
I wanted to know how to properly do it. And then, now, I can actually do it quite well. I can do it quite well. And I practiced on like a toy before, like plushies. I practiced on like plushies because I wanted to know like how do you tie things properly without like dead tying or like hurting anything. So I practiced and I'm actually not that bad. I can make a good amount of things. I can make a good amount of patterns, you know? I can make your back look like a web and I'm very proud of that. I can like tie it in a way that would make your back look like it's a little web thing. It's so cool. It's so good to the brain. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't know whether like it would get me horny, but I know it got my brain whirring because I'm like, oh my god, this is so aesthetic. This is so pretty. Anyways.
Darebrains cheered X300. Open stream. Sometimes you gotta stroke your V. I can do it quite well. I practiced on a toy. I'm 10 seconds into this and I already feel like it was a lot.
You took it so out of context. Okay, the first one was about R18 shit. The second part is just about me learning how to do Shibari, dude. I got so interested in doing Shibari. Let a girl live. Let a girl breathe, bro. The second one was a degradee. It was pretty high. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was pretty high. I don't know. But degradee, thumbs up. Shut the fuck up. Okay. But not in like an insulting way. I don't know. It's kind of cool, I thought.
Thorny Shards cheered X300.
I'm not gonna justify myself on that one.
Mel might enjoy talking about this. Maybe a little bit too much.
And the first one was the Switch. There. Those are my top 5. To be fair, one is because I find the art to be very good. The other one is vanilla, which is normal. The other one is Switch, which is also normal. Honestly, who is shocked that I'm into voyeurism? No one is fucking shocked. Okay? If you're like, oh my god, no way. You're into voyeurism? Why are you pretending? Why are you lying to yourself? It shocks nobody. You are? Just so you know, I love people watching. Okay? That should already be like the biggest flag. It should be like, cling, cling, cling. I wish... This is one thing. It's very oddly specific, but I want to learn more Shibari over time. I actually have the rope for it as well. I actually went out of my way to buy rope for it, which is really odd if you think about it. But I do have bondage rope with me. I've never used it on anyone, but I had to use it for practice. And they're very, very long. They're very long because you're supposed to fold it around and stuff, right? So I do have that. And the fabric. There's one thing that I was very like, oh my god, I never knew. You know, like, I never knew about this, but the fabric of the rope is very different. You can't use any type of rope. You have to use a specific one because the fiber is very soft. So even if you like, you're trying to like let loose or something, you're like tugging on the rope and stuff, it's not going to rash your skin and it's not going to create like itches or burn marks even. So it's very soft and it's weaved in a very clean way. Yeah, so it doesn't create any skin burns and it doesn't like cause any problems. It's very oddly specific and the tips are like kind of plastered, so no one is going to kind of move around and then maybe the rope would smash you in the head, something like that. So I like how they have a specific type, but I do want to one day learn how to do it on a person.
I volunteer as tribute.
I will be honest about that though. I've always wanted to know because I don't know whether it's comfortable. Like, I have the technique down, but I don't know whether whether it works or not. Because obviously a person and like a plushie are two different things. A person can feel like, oh, this is a bit too tight and now I can't feel my fingers, right? So I want to learn how to do it properly. But isn't that a very weird thing to do?
$3.33. Mel/Michi stream. About rope. We can say it's angles. And materials science. Oh, how did we get two tubers suspended from the ceiling? Didn't I see this in a sketchy Spider-Man comic somewhere?
I can't do it to myself. I've tried to do it to myself at one time because I wanted to practice, but it just doesn't work. You need your hands, you know? Time to chat with Mel. No! Well, maybe. Actually, maybe Mel has very interesting things to say about this. You're right. You've tried? I've tried doing it on my feet once. It doesn't work. The feet's not the same, I think. Yeah, it just doesn't work. I tried doing it on my feet. I've tried doing it. Yeah, no. I would say I tried doing it on my hands, but then I figure out it doesn't work because I need my hands. But it's just different. It's different. The joints of your elbows and your back and your shoulders are very good anchor points. Very good anchor point. And you can't duplicate that with just your feet. But yeah, maybe Mel has very interesting things to say about this. You're right. I know the skills, but I've just never had an experience with like a living, breathing person before. Trust me, Mel is the perfect person to talk about this to. Oh, maybe. Don't try it alone if you are not that experienced. I'm not suspending my leg on top of a ceiling, chat, okay? Just, you know, people think it's like, oh my god, you're tying yourself up to something. You don't have to tie yourself up to anything. You can just tie it up in general. Like, so they can't walk. It doesn't have to be tied onto something. It just has to be kind of tied on in a pretty way. And I think that's so fucking cool. The patterns are so cool. Hold on. There's like a YouTube channel that teaches you this very well. And I thought that was so cool. Like, there's a YouTube channel that's like, this guy is really good at it. And then he teaches you the basics and all that. And oh, it's just cool. And I don't think I can ever show you this. But yeah, no, I don't think I can ever show you. Never mind. I'm tying you up like loot, okay? It's one of these days, it's gonna come in handy. Trust me. One of these days, we're gonna be trapped in a deserted island and I can make you a tent out of rope. Think about that. Maybe. I can't yet, but maybe if I keep at it. You know, it's like knitting, just with rope. It's cool. I don't know. I have weird obsessions, okay? When I get addicted to something, I get really addicted for a long period of time. And it's shameful. Take pictures of your plushie? Oh, you wanna know something? You're actually the first people I've ever admitted this to. So, I have never once talked about this to anyone before. Aside from like 2 of my close friends, but I never said it's like... I didn't say it was Shibari. I said I was into a form of knitting. Aside from that, I've never admitted this. Ever. You're the first group of people I've ever really acknowledged it to. Because it's hard. People always think it's like, oh, this means it's kinky. But it's not kinky. Not in my head. Okay? Like, it doesn't have to be. If it's supposed to be kinky, I suppose it is. But in my head, it's just pretty. You know, it's just really pretty. Especially, oh, I want to get a red one. I think red on skin is so pretty. Maybe I'm going insane. The craft aspect is very fascinating. Exactly, that's what I'm saying! I have weird obsessions. Okay, I've had a thing for knitting. I mean, I was part of fashion, chat. I'm a fashion student. No shit, I get interested in like these things. But I had a time where I was really bored. I got into knitting, and then I got bored, and I got into origami. I got bored. I made keycaps.
So what you are saying is that it is pretty kinky.
Do words enter one ear and leave the next for you? When I speak, do you listen to the words you want to hear and ignore my sentences? Knitting quote on... Oh my god. For real knitting. One thing I've never gotten was crochet, actually. I've never tried crocheting before, oddly enough. I know the basics, but I've never made anything. Man, I just have weird hobbies. I pick up weird random hobbies. I can fold cool origamis. I can make keycaps. What else did I pick up on doing? Too much random shit, I swear. The weirdest one has got to be Shibari, though. Because it's huge. It's huge. One thing I've always wanted to try, I've always wondered, right? Like, how do you make the tying up session to be sexual? You know? When I was practicing it, that was the first thing I thought of. It's like, how do you make this sexual? Because you don't know how long that takes. Like, you have to do it for a while. You have to go from like behind them, in front of them, behind them, in front of them. And then you have to be like, okay, this goes into the loopy loop. And then is this too tight? No, perfect. Now this goes here and this goes into the loopy loop. Like, it's not sexy at all in my head. It's called foreplay. Bro, I am tying you up like a tenderloin steak, okay? Like, it's... It takes a while. Like, that shit... I think the first time I've ever tried it, it took me an hour and a half to learn how to, like, tie stuff up properly. An hour and a half of me just going, this thing goes into this loop. This thing now pull. Aha. Now go into other loopy loop. I feel like I remember thinking to myself, I was like, I don't know how I can make this sexy. Like, I can't tell how this is... I don't know.